Hey guys, Magnusword2 here, and today I'm going to be talking to you a bit about the Mafioso role in Town of Salem. Now I know what you're thinking, the Mafioso role is quite boring. I mean, you don't have control over who you attack, you're a member of the Mafia, but you don't have any control. You can't kill anybody you want until the Godfather dies, and that is boring. I will not argue against that, it is definitely boring. So, what exactly can you do as a Mafioso to make the role a little bit more interesting, and win the game at the same time? So, the Mafioso obviously wants to kill all town members, so how can you do it? Well, first of all, remember that you'll always have your moment in the sun. If the Godfather dies before you do, you're going to become the next killing role, which means you'll have all of the entertainment of running bloody death upon your enemies. So, always prepare for that, and take heed of the Godfather tips and tricks to make sure you're ready for that eventuality. Now, I wouldn't exactly say that the Godfather is safer than the Mafioso, but I also wouldn't say that Mafioso is safer than the Godfather. Both pretty much are equally able to die, in my views. Possibly, if there's more serial killers than arsonists, it's much more likely the Mafioso will die ahead of the Godfather. But that's not a problem if there are loads of arsonists, because the Godfather can get killed just the same as you can. But obviously you also have the threats of vigilantes who've called you out, so always take the effort to make sure you're not too obvious in being a mafia. However, one advantage to the Mafioso over the Godfather I've found is that on a night you don't really have to decide who you're going to kill if there's a Godfather there. Because obviously the Godfather will be like, oh, I want to kill this guy. You can vote all you like, but they're going to kill who they like. So, it might be wise for you to take the time on a night to try and fool the spy. Maybe throw out a few fake names, implying that they're mafia. It's a good idea, and you won't have to spend the time choosing who to kill, because somebody else will do that, at least until you become the Godfather, or if there isn't a Godfather at all. Something I really should have brought up a little bit earlier is that the Mafioso, when the Godfather dies, becomes a Godfather, meaning you'll gain the immunity that you should need to do what you need to do. Although a major advantage of the Mafioso is not having to worry about the Mafia, so you can be as active with the town as you like. As long as you don't actually try and help the town as much as you can, just to give the impression, you should be free to go about your business and do whatever you like. Remember, if you make yourself look like your town, you're not going to be attacked by a serial killer, because serial killers are more likely to target Mafia than they are town, and you're very unlikely to be targeted by vigilantes. Just don't be overdoing it, because if you're too helping the town, some people get paranoid and say, he wants to do it too much. Let's kill him. Well, like me. I'm just paranoid though, but it can happen, so take note of that. Now, one of my favourite tricks for the Mafioso is if you've got an AFK Godfather, or basically a bad Godfather who's just like, keep attacking the immune person. Then you have the ability to oust them and gain yourself complete clemency. Now, how you do this is you simply claim an investigative role in chat on the day and say they're the Godfather, lynch them. Now, most of the time people will be like, he's a Godfather, let's lynch him just in case. This works about 75% of the time. However, if you've got a stupid town who just gets confused, then it's not really going to do much, but they might get lynched the day after. Now, what this does is it gets rid of a problem for the Mafia, in an incompetent Godfather is going to get the Mafia killed anyway, and it gives you complete innocence, which means late game you're pretty much going to be immune to people thinking that you need to be lynched. Unless somebody say twigs on to the fact that you're a Mafioso and you've just ousted your own Godfather, which is very unlikely, it's only happened to me about once when I've used this trick, then you're pretty much home free for the rest of the game and the Mafia will win. Now, I love using this ability because it makes me feel like Jafar from Aladdin, or something like that, but it's actually very tactical, but it requires sacrificing the Godfather, so unless you're a really cruel and manipulative bastard, I wouldn't advise doing this early on in the game. It's more of a late game strategy. Plus there's the fact the Godfather can be spiteful and out you, but nobody trusts the Mafia, which is an added bonus. But some people will trust anybody in this game. So be careful when you do it. Always take care to notice the situation. But let's just assume that you've got a good godfather, and that you want them to live because they're going to lead you to victory. What can the mafioso do then? Well, you can start creating ties with members of the town who can help you, like amnesiacs, survivors, witches, all of which can make sure that you win the game. Now you can do this either through the death notes you get when the Godfather orders you to attack and kill somebody. Always remember to put in your death note something that'll help, or mock. Causing rage within the town will help out blackmailers and all that, so that's a good thing. But yeah, what you put in your death note is something like amnesiac join us if there's another dead mafia, or survivor stop trying to hinder us, we know who you are and we'll kill you. That's something that'll help out. Because sometimes survivors will be cowardly and say, okay, I'll stop trying to help town. Or sometimes they'll be like, well, I've got to kill you fast as I can. And obviously people who are aggressive and start operating for lynches are very easy to convince the rest of the town that they're mafia. But yeah, that's the one key strength of the mafiosos. You have control of the death notes. So use that to your advantage as much as possible, guys. Okay, I think that's about it. There's not really much to say about the mafioso. He's very much similar to the Godfather, especially when he becomes the Godfather. So I'm just going to leave it there, guys. Hope you enjoyed this installment, even though it was a bit short. And I'll see you again. Goodbye.